Sandfish the Fishbowl here at Living Dead Weekend 2024 at the Monroeville Mall with the infamous Russ Streiner on the on the Fishbowl once again.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent.
Good.
It's been a great weekend. Seeing all the fans come out to.
This has become a very, very popular gathering, and I'm so glad to be participating.
I'm glad.
And it gives me a chance to talk with you again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how have you been doing?
Excellent.
Maybe I should interview you.
Right. We call it the Russ Streiner Bowl.
There you go. There you go. So what have you been up to?
Trying to get the fishbowl off the ground, or I should say out of the bowl.
There you go, yeah. Well, does the fishbowl have any questions that I might be able to answer about Night of the Living Dead?
Hopefully. Obviously, there was a lot that went into shooting. It was a short shoot, I believe.
30 actual production days, 30 days.
30 days.
Broken up into two 15-day parcels.
Okay.
Because at the same time we were making Night of the Living Dead, the production company, the George still had commercial customers that needed to be taken care of, so we had to interrupt our movie production schedule, take care of business, keep groceries on the table.
Right. And is it true that after the film was basically cut together, George drove from back and forth from Pittsburgh to New York to have it screen at
when we started the sales part of this endeavor, trying to round up a distributor, it is true that George and I, the first trip we made to call on distributors was April 4th of 1967, and that unfortunate day was the same day as we were driving on the Pennsylvania Turnpike to New York City, that the news announcement came on the radio was that people were assassinated. So it was that certainly took the tragedy took its toll on not only the nation, but we were trying to digest that information in terms of what was it going to mean now. Here we are, it's 1967. We have a black man who is the lead in our movie. What effect, is it going to have? Not only the tragedy that has fallen the nation, what impact was it going to have on our little film that we just got finished?
Right.
So I'd say it certainly did put an additional challenge into that trip. But as we now know, Night of the Living Dead has gone on to survive not only the 60s, the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and here we are at 2024.
Right, still talking about it.
Still talking about it.
Yeah, and obviously, the effect of having Duane Jones as the lead really made that film even more. And the thing that I love about George's zombie films is that the zombies are there, but there's a bigger overall message.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think with staying back right out the
We have that on t-shirts and hoodies as well.
all this stuff going on in the same bag. Probably created a much more substantial impact at the time than obviously had a long-lasting impression in cinema.
Well, it certainly has done that, but we can't take credit for that. The fans take care of that. All that credit goes to the fans because we made the best movie that we could make at the time with the budget that we had and trying to use our wits and imagination to do our first, what we refer to as a real movie. A movie that you go to a movie theater and see. But beyond that, it's been the fan base that has kept it going now for, this October it will be 60, how many years now? I've lost the track.
Yeah.
56 years.
Yeah.
Which, it's weird, but I have to say that there are not many films that have existed for that long from any time that are still going. With all due respect to Citizen Kane, for example. When is the last time you saw a Citizen Kane t-shirt?
Right.
So, I guess we did something right.
Right. I mean, I went to Point Park for screenwriting. One of the first semester classes I took was studying, and obviously we watched this. I had already seen it, and ironically, I had already seen most of the films that they showed in the class. And I was kind of older when I went there, so all the students kind of walk around me because I knew all the stuff, and had connections to podcasts or going to with the Living Dead, the local places. I remember when we watched Dr. Strangelove, and none of my fellow students has heard of that film or seen it. And when they said we were going to watch it, I said, get ready. This film, in my personal opinion, I think my three top favorite movies have to be Dr. Strangelove, Clockwork Orange, and Full Metal Jacket. I like The Shining. I might get some crap for this, but I actually tend to prefer Stephen King's miniseries that he did with Steven Weber and Rebecca. The second story in that Risky Business. And I prefer that one over Stanley Kubrick. Now, I will say that I think the Stanley Kubrick one is scarier. The music, obviously the score. The score for every Kubrick movie is just,
absolutely.
It makes the film, and wouldn't have the same effect without the score. And I think that really makes his Shining the scariest is the score. But let's get back to Living Dead.
Well, one more thing about Dr. Strangelove. I think it's the only film ever in which a Coca-Cola machine was assassinated.
Right. And, Peter Sellers, one of the greatest comedians of our time, playing three different characters in the same movie, the first actor to ever do that. Way before Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and Mike Myers.
Outrageous character.
And if you go back and watch that film today, knowing what we know about the Cold War, and especially that was at the height of the Cold War. You had the Cuban Missile Crisis going on, and the way the movie ends.
Yeah.
So it lasts a year.
Absolutely. Slim pickings.
Right, right.
Same book.
We don't want to give anything away. But
Right. If you have not seen Dr. Strangelove or any of Kubrick's films, check them out. You would not have Quentin Tarantino without Kubrick.
Gentlemen, you can't fight here. This is the war.
I actually learned a piece of trivia with Dr. Strangelove when George C. Scott gets out of the seat and stumbles and falls and then gets back up. That apparently was that he actually tripped and then got back up.
And they kept it
in the scene. And I also had a class at Flint Park with my fabulous teacher and advisor, Steve Cuban. And it was like we had to pick a scene from a movie and basically reenact it and direct the scene with two actors from the class, and everybody did something with everybody else. And I originally wanted to do the scene from Dr. Strangelove where Peter Sellers is talking with the Colonel about rainwater and all that, and I was looking up the script and I couldn't find it anywhere, and it dawned on me that was all
ad lib.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best lines come from it.
Right.
Well, you said you wanted to get back to Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, let's get back.
One of the most famous lines in Night of the Living Dead that was ad lib was, "Yeah, they're dead, they're almost up." that was an ad lib line. The Johnny line of "They're coming to get you, Barbara," is not exactly the way it was written. I modified it a little bit, but it was not ad lib. Not like, "Yeah, they're dead, they're almost up."
Awesome. Well, Russ, thank you so much for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me again.
Absolutely, Sam.
It was a pleasure talking with you, and thank you for...
Thank you, and thank all of you who are tuned into this. If you find it a bit nonsensical, that's what it's intended to be. Swimming in Sam's fishbowl.
Awesome. I hope the temperature was just right.
It was.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Russ Streiner, everyone.